G'day, everyone, and welcome to the Red Sea Full Time. We are the lads here at the Red Sea Down Under. We're filling in for James and Adam, SS, and Tiago's father, 89. My name is George, and I'm joined here by Pete. Pete, I mean, the first thing I just want to say is it's a 3-0 win. We actually had a little show on the training on the Red Sea Down Under called the Training Ground, where we predicted a 3-0 win. We predicted goals from set pieces. We've got to be happy with that, but the performance was a little bit flat. But that's the mark of champions or future champions at that, or past champions as we are, a team that can win 3-0 without looking like they can win 3-0.
And we predicted Mane would score, didn't we, to create the history, to be the only Premier League player to score against a single club. Was it 9 times in a row?
Nine times in a row. That's the one.
Was it 9 or 8? One of the two. But yeah, so
nine. That's the one.
I mean, go back to the season we won the league. We didn't play, beautiful every single match, did we? And we got through games where we kind of just wiped our forehead and said, "Thank God that's over. Can we wait for the next game already?" So, and I think that was one of them games today. Today, that was one of them games where it wasn't too enjoyable for most of the time, to say the least. Palace, give them complete credit, by the way, George. We said they'd be good, and they were. And they created enough chances to, potentially score even just one, but they didn't, thank God. And then, 3 points, undefeated. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, there's a player that we actually looked at, Pete, before the game. It was Gallagher. I believe he's on loan from Chelsea. He was creating a lot of issues, and he was not only exploiting that space between the centre backs, but he was also just playing in that hole behind the striker, going left and right. I guess we're lucky it didn't really lead to anything more than a decent performance, but that's another thing we looked at on the training ground on the Red Sea Down Under. Good thing it didn't eventuate to anything more dangerous.
Now the use of Gallagher to try and run in behind the strikers or try to find them pockets between the winger and striker was quite evident today, and he did it well. I actually quite like him. Also like the left back Mitchell. I thought he did a quite a good job, up against the best winger in Premier League history. So I thought that he did quite well. But again, as the comment says here from Avo Third, 3 points, and especially City dropping 2.
That's what happened there? What happened with City? Who did they?
They drew nil to that really super team, Super Southampton, and they're reporting that they had a sellout crowd.
They had a sellout crowd, yeah. I love that.
That's what the reports were.
Yeah. Dude, by the way, one of the worst things that their supporters group could do is go out on Sky News, the channel that really wants to just plug, like disharmony between football clubs, and just let that idiot go on and talk shit about Pep Guardiola. What an absolute shambles for them. 0-0, perfect. Liverpool potentially top of the table. Not sure what the other results were. Actually, I haven't seen them. I was just surprised.
I think the other title rivals don't play until later. So I think it's Chelsea, Tottenham this week, and which is excellent for us. Manchester City, Man United away to West Ham, which again could be challenging. With West Ham in a really good place at the moment, so it's for us. We're currently first, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, I want to bring up with you very quickly, Pete. A lot of people say that we're, I love that City play better in an empty stadium. Maybe the fans are a hindrance.
It's too noisy in here. What's happening?
We can't hear the instructions, man.
Yeah, I think just Pep was quite upset that the camera wasn't on him enough, trying to scream at players to make it up like he's like the attention-seeking whore that he is.
Yeah, I've just got here, cop expert. I was literally about to bring this up. I thought there's something that we actually tweeted during the game. All this clamor for a right back, clamor for like cover at fullback. We've just got Tsimikas coming in at left back. We've got Milner coming in at right back. I thought they were both fantastic, in my opinion. And we always want 103-year-old James Milner on the pitch. He shows all of his 103 years of experience on the pitch there. I thought he was great, and it's really great to see our backup fullback essentially, or one of our backup fullbacks coming in and resting Trent, which is something that we brought up in our pre-match.
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, take away his corners and throwing Hendo under the bus. I think that it was a standard, Milner performance, standard 7 out of 10. Nothing that is too amazing, but nothing that's quite terrible. And then if you go look down the left side with Tsimikas, I think he was excellent. I thought Tsimikas was brilliant. We both 2 corners, 2 goals. I thought that he just adds a bit of flavor when Robbo doesn't play.
It's weird. It's kind of like it's like an unpopular opinion, but you and me both share this opinion. He feels technically better on the ball than Robertson. We always say Robertson prefers paddock to run into, but Tsimikas likes the ball under his feet. He loves that futsal type of control. You know,
Yeah.
it's ball under the boot, under the studs. You roll it in front of you, and then figure out what you want to do from there. Close control.
Look, at the end of the day, Robertson's a much better player, but Tsimikas offers us something different. And that when Robbo doesn't play, it's the gap is not huge. In fact, the gap is minimal. And it's purely because Tsimikas just hasn't got those games underneath his belt. But if Tsimikas played, 10 games in a row, I'm sure he'd be fit enough to compete for the 90 minutes and not make silly fouls as we've seen him do during games towards the end of the games. Because it's just, again, it's match fatigue, mental fatigue, because he's not used to playing, obviously, many games in a row. I'd love to see him start against Norwich just to get 2 games in a row again.
Yeah, and I want to point to Olivier what he's just said here. Palace did not come to Anfield to paint a masterpiece. All 3 points without Trent, Robbo, and Konate debut. Keita scores. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday indeed. I think that's kind of, like I said before at the start, that's kind of the mark of champions. I mean, usually these are the types of games we win 1-0. This is 3 set pieces. Another thing we brought up on our training ground, we thought, this is something that I personally thought, is that Roy Hodgson was so strong with set pieces with Crystal Palace. And then Vieira comes in, and Vieira wants to play triangles. He wants to bring in that Arsene Wenger style of football. He wants to be like, what's our identity? And I have a feeling he just left set pieces in the back a little bit. And I just felt like that we could probably get at them there. 3 goals, 3 set pieces, essentially. A lot of chaos caused by our 2 big centre-backs in the middle there. A goal, I said this is, if Keita was invisible, then that goal came out of absolutely nowhere. What a strike. But there you go, 3-0. And it's
I agree with Chris before there about the whole we give him stick, but what a screamer. I think you're 100% correct. But up until the screamer, it was almost like I forgot he was actually brought on. And all of a sudden, as we watch something get delivered in, and this poof, it's in the back of the net, and you kind of go, who was that? And Keita's just standing there like, oh shit, what a goal.
do we have a left-footed centre midfielder? What's going on?
It's like holy shit, what a screamer. So, credit to him, man. You don't shoot, you don't score. It's simple as that. And finally, midfielders getting involved in goals. We saw Henderson do it against AC Milan. Obviously in midweek, we've seen now Naby Keita get involved in goals. I think it's beautiful to see our midfielders getting involved in goals.
Yeah, can I just very quickly say here, Mr. Slackalot says, Tsimikas and Mane and Jota link up better than with Robbo. Look, I think, like we said, Robbo's our best fullback. It's our best left back. It's as simple as that. But what I love about that is that idea of what Sir Slackalot said there. It was that idea of Jota and Mane linking up with Tsimikas. It's not just Mane. And that's something that we also brought up there, Pete. In the pre-game, we were talking about on the training ground, looking at the lead up to the Crystal Palace game. The key is that interplay between Mane and Jota. They keep switching. It happened a lot in the first half against Crystal Palace. And it's really, really good to see, because it's like we're leaving Salah out on the wing, which is weird because we really want him in front of the goal. But it's Jota and Mane are the ones that are actually switching between each other. It's kind of weird. We've got like 2 dots. And kind of like, that's Jota and Mane, and then Salah's out here.
It's interesting. I think they choose to do that. I don't think you see Firmino swapping with Mane. I think you see Jota doing it because, as Pep Linders explains it, his intelligence to kind of like roam and find the spaces out wide. So we don't want 2 players in the same kind of position. So having Mane come central, I think, freshens it up for Mane too, because there's one thing we can all agree with is that Mane is, and thank God he scored today. I think for his confidence, it's going to do him the world of good. But Mane hasn't been the Mane of, let's just say a couple of years ago. But I think making him roll in centrally and getting involved into some like different tactical positions can actually freshen it up for him. And what we've seen again is that he's getting involved in goals again, which is absolutely for us amazing.
You know what I think it is as well? Notice this, if you guys, all you guys in the comments, everybody watching now, just remember the moment where Mane was offside. It was the 1-2 with Salah. And actually, this is a really big thing for the whole Salah-Mane relationship, where Salah actually plays him in. It would have been Mane one-on-one with the keeper, but Mane was judged offside. Bringing Mane further infield, I think it makes him have to make decisions quicker. And so we're
Yeah.
seeing him link up a little bit more. So it's great
Yeah.
to see him. It's almost like, let's get the benefits of him out on the wing, on the left wing. But when you bring him in central, switch him with Jota, he actually has to make those quick decisions. And that's when Mane's at his best, instinct. He's got too much. He's great when he's got time to think, but in this moment where he needs, confidence to try and get his form back, we just need him to play on instinct. Once he's got that back, because once we saw him score, by the way, he turned into Maradona for like 10 minutes.
Speaking of this comment here from Dan Kanate, what are your thoughts on Kanate today?
I think it's actually really good because the comment actually says shows the VVD effect. I think he was good. I think he showed his pace there. I made a little joke that he's giving a little nudge to FIFA 22, give us a little pace increase there for Kanate. But I think it is true there, the VVD effect. I think lots of centre backs look good next to Virgil van Dijk. I think Kanate was really good on his debut. I thought it's better than what we had last season in Phillips and Williams. Unfortunately, they did a great job for us. But yeah, I was happy with it, and he showed great pace. He showed great composure. A couple of times, a little bit immature, but
I was going to say,
on the whole, thought he was great.
Look, you can tell the start it was just nerves. You can tell there's a couple of mistakes, and he almost looked like a miniature, Sacco on the ball at the start, a bit nervous and all that kind of stuff. And then once he did this one-on-one tackle with Benteke nice and early, I think it was about the 25th minute, somewhere there. The next, I don't know, let's just say 10 actions he did was spot on, brilliant. And you can tell he needed that kind of to make that tackle, that last ditch challenge. And all of a sudden the crowd starts clapping him and his chest grows, his neck's up. Now all of a sudden he's kind of just ready to rumble. And he does a few really good splitting passes to Jota we've seen. And yeah, I think for a debut, I think I can see why Klopp hesitated to start him in past games, because you can see he's just not there yet. But I think there's a super player there. As Daddy Pig says, Kanate is a mini VVD. I think with his age, the longer he plays beside the best defender we've ever seen, I think he can only be the closest thing to him.
It's kind of like remember the Brady bunch, how you had like Greg Brady and then Peter Brady and then Bobby. It's kind of like, you got like the oldest one and Joe Gomez. They're like the brothers. And now Kanate's come in as like Bobby Brady instead of like the three brothers now that we've got. So hopefully Joe Gomez can kind of hold his hand and go like, oh, I can show you what Virgil showed me. And then we can.
But you can't forget, George, you can't forget future Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Matip.
He's I don't know who's technically the eldest out of all those centre backs, but maybe he can be the father. Mike Brady, like the Brady bunch at the back there. This is good. Mane now 10 goals in 11 appearances versus Palace. Salah now 7 in 9 against Palace. We just play Palace every week.
I was going to say, so what Chris is trying to tell us is that we need to be Palace every single week.
Absolutely. What's this? Natty Dread against Norwich. Is that I'm assuming is that Phillips?
Yes, Lord Matip.
Lord Matip. We've been calling him Lionel Matip because of those runs from the back. I just want to ask you very quickly. There's Thiago's father. Yes, guys. We actually had a little comment here of people saying we're staying up till all hours. This is 2:00 in the morning here in Australia. So this is what we go through. The Reds down under.
Yeah, it's currently 2:15 a.m. So yeah, please appreciate the work we're putting in.
if we look like zombies, it's because of that. But this is what keeps us up. It's the Reds winning. It's really good. I think the team that we want to stay ahead of in and amongst all this is Manchester City. And it's really great that they drop points. And like I was saying before, I want to
again, by the way, because I lost to Tottenham, don't forget.
Yeah, I just want to echo this. Champions usually win these games off a weird set piece, off a butt, like comes off a testicle into the fucking goal, some dumb goal. And we've won it 3-0, Pete. It should give us a lot of confidence going forward. An average-ish performance, but a solid performance, 3-0. Come on, yeah.
Like I said, like the first, as we said when we first started, it's a game that you want to it's not a game you're going to remember. So in 5 weeks' time, I'll tell you, George, what do you think of the Palace game? You're going to go, Palace game. Oh yeah, right. That's the game that we.
I tell you what, Naby Keita would be very upset with you if he heard you say that. Who's going to remember this game? Poor guy scored a screamer top corner.
I'm surprised he didn't break a toe after he's kicked it. I'm surprised nothing broke.
I think Naby Keita has broken his left big toenail after that strike.
I'm broken. Hopefully, nothing's bad. What are your thoughts on Thiago? Hopefully, it's nothing serious.
I actually just wanted to throw that one back at you because firstly there was a jink he did just before he leaves, and it's just
Yeah,
like that idea of football intelligence is always going to be quicker than your feet. Even though he has got quick feet, but the way he just streamed past their midfield press and got through, it's actually when he gives the ball off to Henderson, and Henderson gets brought down by, I think it's Gallagher, when he tries to strike from distance. I think that's the last meaningful contribution we get from Thiago. But I think you said this as well in our little group chat. That's when we see the game kind of slip away from Liverpool, is when we lose Thiago. Now, I didn't see the injury happen. What was it? Was it a challenge from Zaha?
I think he was trying to win the ball, and he was trying to get around. I think it was Mitchell or someone there, and I think it's where he planted his foot whilst he was trying to get around. Then he went down. I'm not too sure, but he came off straight away. He didn't even bother trying to get back up and get back on the pitch. So for me, is that him? Because again, he's royalty. So maybe that's him kind of saying, "Okay, look, I don't like where that feels. I'm done." And if he did think like that, then you wonder how smart he is. Look at what he knew that Naby Keita would do. He planned that.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how good he is at playmaking.
So Thiago was on the pitch and he was dictating play. And then even when he decides that he's going to make way for somebody, he's actually giving someone else the opportunity to score a goal. So Thiago has actually been present the entire match sheet. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
But in all seriousness, my God, how good was he?
That's good.
Like, when literally the game did go to shit for that period when he came off that 10 minutes or so, there was no more control in midfield. And there's one thing that you can see he's trying to get better at. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but he's trying to get better at that crossfield ball, where we've seen him play 3 or 4 of them, and 2 were way off, and the other 2 were quite good. But maybe you can see that he's trying to look, Tsimikas was free almost every single time. I don't think we used him enough in that game. And on the other side, obviously, Milner was free, taking up those positions that our right fullback always does. And we've seen him trying to play these kind of passes. And I think that's something that we're trying to add to his locker for the way we play. Because think about every team he's played for. It's always been about, possession-based, close triangles, a bit of connection, and then we break a line. It's all about breaking lines from Bayern Munich from Barcelona. Whereas we come in and he's playing for us, and it's about, okay, we need this pass to happen now. And it's that 30 meters into the space, where our fullbacks are kind of just living.
Well, there's one thing that we also said in the pre-match when we were looking at this on the training ground preview is we've kind of been lacking that left centre mid, the LCM. We've been lacking that player to kind of sit in that little spot in between our fullback and our centre back. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a midfielder that sits there. It's just a player that occupies a presence in that spot. I feel like Thiago really knitted that part of the pitch together really, really well. And I think it's just put to bed any notions that we should be playing anybody else there. I mean, Kate has been decent for us, but Thiago really he's that player that we need in that little spot there.
So if Yoda, if it is a dead calf, as we just saw in that comment there, then that's actually a good sign. I mean, dead calf, it's a internal bruising, depending how bad the internal bruising is, 1 week. So he won't play against Norwich, which means we probably would see him against Brentford, which is excellent news if it is a dead calf. A bit of ice, 48 hours later, the physio starts rubbing it out, and then he's fine. So, and I don't think we expect him to play midweek anyway. So that could be excellent news for us.
Well, it's also great because, like we said, Thiago, the Yoda, he orchestrated the whole thing using the force as he was. I mean, he's brought on Keita in his absence, and Keita scoring. We can fully expect to see Keita playing in that left centre mid position. I mean, Keita plays off confidence as well. We saw last season when he was kind of low on confidence, played against Real Madrid, was kind of. But now, after that goal, I mean, even he did, I think the commentator said this, he kind of looked like Cantona when Cantona scored that goal, when they scored that chip.
To be honest,
I
don't think he knew it went in. That's how I just don't think, like that reaction to me says, holy shit. That fucking went in.
yeah, I know. If he meant it, he would have been celebrating.
Right?
Like, is that going on the goal? But it's good
you see midfielders that score that goal, George. The pants are off. My pants came off. I think they're still off now. That's why I'm sitting down so low. So whatever.
It's 2 a.m. Well, it is 2 a.m. for us. We're going to do mad
Yeah,
things. We could be on
yeah,
the drinks as well. It could have been a Saturday night. Could have go clubbing or something like that. But no, we're going to
yeah.
sit here. We're going to do the Red
We're
Sea
in
full
lockdown,
time.
George. Yeah.
We're in lockdown here. But yeah, I think it's really good that Keita comes in next week for Thiago, and he's a little bit in form. He's feeling a little bit better about himself. Naby needed a popped collar. Oh yeah, dude, we need the collar. That's what we need. Red Sea podcast. Thanks,
Well, if
lads,
we
for
had the
giving
away
us.
kit on,
He
there's a
should, you know what
collar
he
on
should have
that.
done? He should have scored the goal. He should have run to the bench, asked for an away kit, put it on, popped the collar. Does he get a yellow card if he puts another shirt on? If he
Oh,
shows a little bit of skin, does he get a yellow card for that little? Like the ref's like, oh, I saw some skin, yellow.
hang on. Speaking of yellow cards, when Salah took his shirt off, I was thinking to myself, there's no need, by the way. Like, you don't need to.
Take the
Then I
shirt
saw
off.
and then you see his body, you're kind of like, yeah, all right, fine.
I wonder. There's got to be some goal bonus that happened there. Like some weird thing. Like if you score like off a corner, or if you score like
Yeah.
against Palace in this game, like you get some goal bonus, because that celebration was just kind of like, I think it keeps him above in the goal scoring charts. That's maybe why I got so excited. Fantasy
I think, Chris,
points.
I agree with Chris. That's what pissed me off. I was like, no, you're my captain. Don't get yellow cards. So so selfishly, yes, Salah. I'm going to message him later and tell him, listen, next time don't take your shirt off.
I love this comment here from Kieran. Massive 1920 feels about this team. Haven't gone above gear 2, but look very comfortable. And this is what I was saying before. This idea of playing an average game. And in 1920, we're winning those 1-0, Pete. To come away 3-0. I mean, I'm looking at the stats here as well. We had 25 shots at their goal. I mean, understandably, they did have some shots against us as well. I think it was in the double digits, but it's not 1-0, it's 3-0. And that's good for goal difference, because we're going to be competing at the top there. We kind of do need goal difference a little bit. But there's 1920 vibes.
Well, going off, let's talk about stats. I think at the moment we actually lead the Premier League in shots on goal and creating opportunities. And I only think we're currently second in touches in the box. So clearly that's been part of the whole preseason planning. And clearly that's been, kind of Klopp looking at this kind of squad and looking at the oppositions and our competition and thinking, well, in order to compete this year all the way, if we're not going to be doing by spending money, maybe tactically we have to try and change something, that we're actually creating a lot more shots in front of goal or getting positions where we are in more often than normal. And I think I read it last week, our statistics at the moment are literally first, second, first in all kind of like shots on target, shots on goal, creating chances, crosses in the box. The only thing we're second in, I think, is the touches in the box, as I mentioned earlier.
There's an interesting comment here. I'm not sure if we'll get it up on the screen. Mr. Fagan here saying we'll always lead in shots on goal stats. I mean, if Sadio Mane is there, it is there. If Sadio Mane has 10 shots every game, I mean, it's no surprises. We've had 4 games already. That's 40
I don't care.
shots.
Sorry, I don't care. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you don't shoot, you don't score. How many times have we watched the game and gone, oh, we only saw 8 shots on goal. So we can't complain when there's 24 shots on goal, because at the end of the day, if you take 24, more than likely they're bound to go in. So the more keep shooting, boys, keep shooting.
This is interesting here. Kieran's our stat man right here. Before today, we averaged 24.6 goals on goal. 24.6. I wonder who had that 0.6 of a shot, by the way. Probably, I reckon Keita's shot today was a 0.6 of a shot, and it went in top corner. That's why he was so surprised. Couldn't pop the collar. Performance today was without Trent, who already created 28 shots this season. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, this is one thing that we were saying as well before the season started. I mean, look, it's disappointing we didn't sign players in the off season, but we always say this, and it's kind of a cop-out. It's a bit of a top red thing to say, but Jurgen Klopp on the training ground, that's where he gets his transfers. He figures out something else different to do with a player. It's a bit of a cop-out to say this, pardon the pun with the word cop. But, what this is, this is a team. This is a team that has won the Premier League. It's won the Champions League. It's won the FIFA World Club Championship. They're world champions, English champions. They're European champions, this team. And it's a side. And that's why we're seeing all the stats. Like you said, we're leading on all the stats. And yeah, United bring in one player in Ronaldo, and yeah, City bring in a player in Grealish. But this is a football squad. And I think, what do we use? Rafa? Squad? It's a squad. It's a squad. So, things like that. I think Liverpool, especially, there was a comment around there saying that, it's the commentators saying it's between City and Chelsea. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
suits us. It suits us to the ground, Pete. To be the underdogs. Klopp loves being the underdog. Loves it.
Well, I mentioned in our shows actually. So the year we actually won the title and heading into the abysmal year that we've kind of all deleted from our memory, I kind of said Klopp has always been the one who chases, like he's always running up the hill. He's not really known for that one who stands at the top of the hill. So his whole career, he's kind of been chasing and running uphill, and I think he prefers that. He really enjoys the thrill of having to prove people wrong and be the underdog and kind of just, I don't know. It's more so he loves that thrill of chasing. It seems.
Mm.
And I think this year, because people, as that comment said, we're not mentioning, people aren't talking about us as title winners. It's Chelsea because they got Lukaku. It's Manchester City because they spend $6 billion on nobodies. It's Manchester United because they got Ronaldo. That's fine by me. I don't care. I prefer that people don't talk about us at all. So by the end of the year, when the trophy, the ribbons are red, that's when you can talk about us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So other things that we saw in the Palace game. Was there anything in the game, Pete, that you think that we should be worried about? I mean, it is
Not
a
worried.
game where that we win 3-0, obviously, but is there anything that we've
Yeah.
got to be careful
Okay, not to be worried, but I think this was hands down Jota's worst performance in a Liverpool shirt.
of? Interesting.
I don't think he was that good against AC Milan either. So I think and by the way, I don't know, because obviously the people here don't really see what we write to each other in the group chat, and everyone knows I'm a Jota fan because he's such an intelligent little kind of like fox in the box kind of player, which is something that, and we've seen how good he is, by the way, in his goal scoring stats. But I just think maybe he misses Firmino in terms of, because they never really play together. But I think that he misses Firmino in terms of just that helping interchange between the two of them. So that comes on for Firmino, or kind of Firmino comes on for him, and they have that thing where Jota kind of plays 60 or he'll play 30. I think Jota kind of having to lead the line and stay on for 90. I don't know if is that him. I don't know.
Well, as we kind of begin to, not wrap up, but have a think about towards the end of this discussion, we're looking at man of the matches. I don't know, what you think, Pete, but I do want to ask people in the comments, who was your man of the match for today? I mean, I'm going to have a think about it. I'm now rambling on to give you a little bit of a chance to have a think, Pete, for the man of the match.
It's a hard one, right? I think players can get man of the matches for different parts during the game. I think Salah for me was excellent. His fucking work rate is not normal. Sometimes you look at him and just go, geez, don't you get tired? So you look at Salah, I think Salah can get man of the match, but then, selfishly and through complete bias, I'm going to say I thought Tsimikas could potentially have man of the match as well.
I would probably say Salah. I would say that it's crazy what he's doing right now, and maybe we should hold off his contract every season. It seems like he's playing absolutely out of his skin. I think since season 1, I don't think I've seen him play this well. Would you agree with that? I mean, it's
Salah?
a big, yeah.
I think Salah breaks his goal scoring record this year.
Oh, that's a big shout.
Yeah.
Going back to that shout about also Jota, I think it's interesting because and by the way, we have to speak quietly, don't we, Pete? Here, 2 a.m. in Australia.
Everyone's sleeping.
Everyone's sleeping. I'm in an apartment as well, so people can hear me all over the place. But with Jota, I think what's the good thing is that I think you say that he played poor, but he was so close to Sadio Mane that he did the job, I think, that Jurgen Klopp wanted him to do, which I think is a good mark for a Liverpool player. And I just don't think that we'll ever see Jota kind of. You always get worried that maybe a Shaqiri thing can happen to him, where he loses form and then maybe we kind of falls out of favor. He seems to be doing everything that he needs to be doing tactically on the pitch, which is something I enjoy. Even though he had a bit of a flat game, missed that goal line sitter, so to speak, I still like that his positioning is good. It's crazy how good his positioning is.
And we mentioned that, and like I said, there was not like a shot on Salah or on Jota, or anything like that. It was just more so an observation, I think, because you want to try and not always be super over positive about everything. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit honest, and because it was a weird performance, and you got to think why, and maybe Jota's performance just wasn't the best, and I don't know why. Maybe he was, a hangover from the Milano game, which is fair. But at the end of the day, like I said, who cares? It's 3 points first, undefeated, and that's all I can keep saying, no matter what happens.
I think there's a really good shout for man of the match as well, which is James Milner. We've just got a
Benjamin
little
Buttons.
a little comment there from Laura, aging backwards. He's roughly 116 years old, so yeah, the aging backwards, yeah, that would make him roughly like a baby or something like that. If he's going, I don't know how quickly he has to go towards 0. But James Milner's also a good shout, like we said, to have somebody come in and just.
I think Allison was. I saw Allison's name pop up before, and I think Allison made some really key kind of stops there as well. I'd say, 2 or 3 occasions where they did kind of cause a bit of trouble. So I think Allison's also another good shout. Like I said, because the team wasn't good, I don't think there was an overall outstanding performance. I think there's obviously Muna covering the best right back in the world is an honourable mention, hands down. Salah's work rate, unbelievable. I think obviously Tsimikas stepping in for the best left back in the world and putting on a performance that makes you think, we didn't really miss Robertson at all. Mm-hmm. It was, I think the other ones you can talk about more than any other ones.
I want to bring up here, because we've got Kev O'Sullivan very quickly, bringing up Allison here. If everyone remembers Edouard, here we go. Edouard taking it is exactly what I wanted to talk about very quickly. If everyone wants to go back and watch that, watch what Allison does here, his technique. He actually, and he's done this on a few occasions, and he did this, I can't remember in which game he's done it, but he's gone down and he's pushing the ball into safety. He's not just making the save, Pete. He's gone down, and Edouard he's got a heavy touch, and he's one-on-one, and Allison's read it well, but he doesn't just get down. It doesn't just bounce off him. You can actually see Allison guide the ball into the path of whoever it is. There's either Konate or it's Milner, whoever it is. It's Allison actually guiding and patting the ball away. For those who haven't watched it, just watch it again. It's really good, and that's the safety that we have. And we talk about this again every single week. My goodness, we just got to lap it up right now, because we went through a decade there where we didn't have a goalkeeper since Pepe Reina. We've got a goalkeeper, and he's doing all sorts. I'm so happy.
We've got a goalkeeper that gets bored during games, and to entertain himself, he does stupid things just because he goes, fuck it, who cares anyway? Van Dijk's in front of me.
It's a good one. Klopp, man of the match. Did we see Klopp do anything funny on the side of the pitch? Did he do his little chanting, his little fist bumps?
Not on our coverage. Didn't show anything. I can't. Right. I don't know. Didn't see anything on our coverage at all.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, I know.
Actually, you know what? I got a question because obviously this is a lot more, overseas, UK based. For the ones who are listening now in the comments, can you please let us know? Because again, we have a problem with our service provider who shows us the Premier League games, and we have a feeling they turn down the crowd noise. For those who were maybe at Anfield or watching from on a different streaming to us over here in Australia, was Anfield loud? Because I swear, I think they turned down the volume on our service provider.
What did you think?
So if you're in the comments, it sounded quiet again.
Sounded quiet.
Yeah, like from us, I'm telling you. So I don't know. Maybe was it Anfield or was it our TV provider? Because we're in this weird place. We're trying to figure it out ourselves. So if you can just drop in a comment, please, because we really want to know. But until then.
Yeah, well, I mean, as it stands, Liverpool are top of the table here. Is it 13 points? Am I understanding? Am I saying that correctly there, Pete? 13 points for Liverpool. Actually, I've got the table open in front of me. I wish I could share my screen as I usually do. Liverpool top of the table, 13 points. Everton are actually in provisional second on 11. Manchester City third with 10, and then Manchester United fourth. We just need to see United drop points. Just get that.
They will this week. I'm telling you that they will drop points this week against West Ham. They'll drop points, hands down.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we've really enjoyed being on this Red Sea full time. We've really enjoyed being here on the Daytrippers channel.
Our old friends. Our old friends.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here at 2:00 in the morning, but unfortunately, we do have to go. It's getting late here, and people are complaining. But it is another win for the Reds. It's a 3-0 victory for the Reds, and we're top of the table as it stands. We've got no money, but we're going to win the league. So thanks very much, guys, from us at the Red Sea Down Under. Cheers.